It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk CIFF today and every day this week. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim.
Hey, hey!
So, with the introduction, wait a second, someone's missing.
Murray.
Where's Murray?
Murray. Oh, he's working today.
Alright, so with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on CIFF style again.
Super duper Alice Cooper. Well, before we jump into CIFF, we got to do some plugs here. So first thing we're going to talk about, which is coming up October 1st for everybody, is All the Horror, which is an amazing podcast event that's happening for October. There's going to be tons of podcasters, and each one's going to have a nice horror theme for this month of October. So check out All the Horror 18 at Twitter and Instagram, and go on the charity that we are supporting with this event at scaresthatcare.org. So please check it out. We also got a quick promo to play for our buddies at Weird Distractions Podcast with Christy and Alex. So please have a listen and check them out.
Do you often find that you need a distraction from everyday life?
Do you like true crime, conspiracy theories, paranormal stories, and other weird, dark tales?
Well, tune in and turn up Weird Distractions Podcast, where we, your hosts, Christy
and Alex,
bring you a weird distraction to help you get through the work week.
Every Sunday morning, you can find our show on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, Good Pods, and more.
So, grab a snack, get comfy,
And make sure to lock those doors. Need a distraction? We got you.
I don't know about you, but I love weird distractions. Like super weird. The more super weird, the better. Let's get down to some funk. Motherfunkin' funk. You know what this song kind of makes me think of?
Nope.
Shiva Baby.
Shiva Baby.
Shiva Baby.
Because it kind of sounds like the intro to Seinfeld, and he's Jewish.
And he's Jewish, so it's Shiva Baby.
Fair enough.
What do you think about Shiva Baby?
Yeah, it was a movie.
Hit me, baby. Shiva Baby style.
I've never been to a Shiva, but, it seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. They know how to do a wake.
I tell you. Lot went on at this one. There were some laughs. There were some genuine laugh out moments. Moments. I am curious if this film, packed with all the Jewish stereotypes for laughs, would be as, offensive to some. I'm thinking no, but I don't know because I'm not Jewish.
You can't make fun of yourself. How can you make fun?
There you go.
Start yourself and work your way out.
Having said that, this was entertaining. I also found the camera work was actually pretty impressive, as, there were a lot of people in that house and it was weaving through them. Really quite impressively.
Thank God this wasn't made during COVID.
So, had some great lines in it. I'm going to steal one here. I'm sure you're going to talk about a few, but the one that stood out for me was, "You look like Gwyneth Paltrow on food stamps." And not in a good way.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was so good. Sometimes it was funny. Sometimes it felt a little awkward. Sometimes it was uncomfortable. It was always felt genuine, though. It was pretty solid comedy, all in all. It was worth a look.
So after reading the intro for this, I'm like, bisexual? Jewish? Sign me up. I'm in. I loved this Jewish family dynamics and all the inside jokes that the parents had with this. It was so funny, and I have quite a lot of Jewish friends, and I'm sure hopefully they see this in the future, because I've seen these things happen in real life. So very
literally every Jewish stereotype
was in this movie. So it's funny. A friend of ours who's also Jewish recommended this.
There you go.
So there you go. First off, say cheaters are dicks. Okay, so just remember that.
Totes.
Cheaters are dicks. I really enjoyed the great inside quips and phrases. Dialogue was quite great. Midway through the story, I started to feel it did drag a little bit. Plus, the characters kind of changed their positions a little too often, I found, within the story, which felt a little bit, what I would say, quote unquote, convenient for the story to move along. very dry, very, I can't say very enough times, dry sense of humor throughout most of this, like bone dry, which I love that type of humor. Big issue I had during the movie, and it's just one of those really things I pick up on because I don't know anybody that doesn't lock their phone. I know this doesn't apply to you because I'm speaking another language right now. I don't have one of them
fancy walk-around phones.
But I don't know.
You can lock them?
Yes.
With a padlock?
With a password.
With a password?
Yeah. So that people can't... You can't
it's not
just...
like a combination lock?
Try and get into my phone right now. You can't.
Well, how can I not? It doesn't have a lock on it. I can see it.
Okay, go into it. See if you can read my private emails. See?
It's not doing anything.
It's because it's locked. But
then I don't know how to work these things.
Yes, but see, you're the only one on the planet that doesn't have one. So... another time they show this, there's this moment where her friend gets into her phone. And I was like, they kind of didn't do that for a little bit.
Can't she just forget to lock it?
She could, but it automatically locks after a certain amount of time. What? Because guess what? People put things like their online banking passwords and things in there.
Now you're just talking sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty
Phones
sci-fi.
Just automatically lock.
I know.
Sure they do, Jim.
Yeah, sometimes Bryce lives in the 1800s. There's a reason why he loves period pieces. I can tell you that. So yeah, I had a bit of a problem with the phone scene. I just had to get that off my chest.
All right.
No one, not even Canadians, who are very trustworthy, don't lock their phone. The ending in this film was fantastic. Like, you're waiting through all of this family dynamics, but the end deserves a lot of credit because, most times movies can make or break by the end. The end of this was fantastic. Gets a quietly funny stereotype Jewish Shiva, Three's Company, I'm going to say, type mishap, meh.
Fair enough.
There's a bit of Three's Company in there.
There definitely was.
Favorite line.
Yep.
You're bringing me a lot of misogyny for a future women's rights march organizer.
That was awesome.
That was a great line. Anyway, worth a look. I think this actually we stream this, so people, you can go stream this everywhere.
Stream it anytime.
So it's well worth a look.
At
CIFFcalgary.ca. Yeah, and the interesting thing I think is, for me, maybe I'm finding this interesting, everybody else doesn't care, but I'm not a huge fan of comedies. So I want to put that out there right now because in future you're going to hear how much I hate comedies. So I'm just reminding people, the fact that I like this is a bonus. Which is a good segue to our next film, which was kind of supposed to be a comedy.
I guess.
Maybe?
I could tell that they were trying, I don't know, I guess maybe, were they trying too hard? I don't know. It wasn't hard enough in my opinion. The situations.
Yeah.
were.
Wink.
Were kind of, could have been funny, I guess.
Yes.
Maybe if it was condensed down into 23 minutes and made into a sitcom.
Yes. So, again, I'm putting a prequel here. Now, just because I didn't like this movie, and perhaps Bryce also didn't like this movie.
Perhaps.
But it doesn't mean that other people aren't going to like this movie, because a friend of ours actually saw this film, and they actually truly enjoyed it. So take the word for it. If you're not a fan of situation comedies like me, then you're not going to like this, probably. But if you are, you might love this. Here are the things that I liked about this movie. It's called The Outside Story. I like the Asian lady whose line is always, sucks.
Yeah, she's all right.
Angry sandwich making, Norwegian sex party, and The Sweater, which inspired me today to actually wear my most favorite sweater. And that's about it. First, no, like I said, I'm not a fan of situational comedies at the best of times, and only like them when they're original, cleverly written, and well done. This one had none of those things. Way too many convenient things with non-essential shots to emphasize obvious points, like where he puts his keys at times. Every character is a one-note cardboard cutout that has no depth whatsoever. They could not even get a great performance out of Asia Kate Dillon, a.k.a. John Wick's supervillain. Pretty much... yeah, everything in this movie, other than those three things I listed, were not my favorite. Oh. This also got a deep, penetrating, polyamorous rage. But then it just ended with a dry hump Norwegian, not funny rom-com rage.
But either way, it's a rage.
Ever been cheated on? Response, probably. That was the famous favorite line.
That was actually pretty good.
That was a good line. That was the one good. So I take that back. There's 4 things I liked. That one line and those 3 other things. So either way, they added up to a rage.
Yeah. I can't really argue with any of that. Dude gets locked out of his apartment. He meets all the zany characters that live in his neighborhood. I guess that was the point of the movie, that, you got to go outside your house and meet all the people around you instead of locking yourself in like a hermit, which I guess was sort of what he was doing.
Yeah.
I can't get the enthusiasm up for this because it was just so boring. It was not good. This is a comedy, I think.
Maybe.
But the prerequisite for a comedy is that, it's supposed to be funny, and it wasn't funny.
We laughed once, remember? You mentioned that. I'm thinking maybe it was the line I listed. I think that was that
line that you just said, yeah. A comedy that's not funny makes for, an excruciating 85 minutes. Rage.
Now, okay, I just want to point this out, that as a director, if you have the concept within your film to have a Norwegian sex party, and you can't make that funny, there's a message being sent here.
If you're going to have a Norwegian sex party, have a Norwegian sex party.
Yeah, or make it at least funny, and it wasn't.
It was neither.
Yeah. And who doesn't want to see a Norwegian sex party? I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there.
I don't know.
So, at the theaters, we got to see 3 bangers yesterday.
We did.
We saw
Whirlybird.
Whirlybird.
Yes. Now, Whirlybird
is something.
It's a movie.
It's a documentary that takes place in Los Angeles.
So, unfortunately, this was in cinema only.
Yep.
And this is actually its only showing.
No.
As far as I know. So, unlike the others that we're going to talk about today, they all have
another showing or
an encore. This one did not. This was a doc about LA reporters Bob Turr and Marika Garrard. Lots of footage of events that occurred in LA shot by this couple. A lot of footage. We had the LA riots to the OJ Bronco chase. Those are the major highlights, but with a bunch of stuff in between. It kind of split time between the personal life and the famous footage that, honestly, as you watch this movie, you've probably seen 90% of it.
Yeah.
I thought it kind of lost its focus when it was kind of toggling between their personal life and the footage. And I'm not sure that... I think they should have touched upon one and focused on the other, and I don't even really care which.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously with him transitioning and everything, it was definitely, that was an interesting story.
That was enough. They could have just told that story.
But we didn't get enough of either, so I think this just, I know I've said this word many times in this review already. It needed to be more focused. Pick a subject.
Yeah.
And then I probably would have cared more. And that's the thing. I probably should have cared more. And at the end of it...
But none of them were really likable. I think that's why we didn't care. But Marika's character didn't get to shine through.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And they were kind of focused on Bob pretty much for the whole thing. But she was thrown in there.
Maybe care's the wrong word. I should have been more interested than I was.
Yeah.
Because it still was a compelling story. I just didn't think that they focused on it enough.
Yeah.
So either focus on the footage that you can't look away from, or focus on the human aspect. But they split it in a way that it just wasn't effective. Either of them wasn't effective for me. Having said that, there's enough crazy footage in there that was definitely compelling. Still a cool story all in all, of these people that kind of started running around with a camera, kind of almost like paparazzi.
Yeah, they were.
To flying around in a helicopter and just expanding their empire. I liked it. I didn't love it. It was meh.
Breaking news.
Yes.
Transgender revealing talking heads coming to a theater near you. I did not love this film.
Yeah.
I found it a little regurgitated, or as a friend of mine once compared my listening to Tracy Chapman, a greatest hits package of news / home movie production. like some found footage, which as soon as you say the word found footage, I kind of lose interest. Some of it was horrific and terrifying. I mean, the scene that they showed of the LA riots where those guys pretty much almost killed that guy was horrifying to watch. I think it was a story worth telling, but personally I found it very draggy at parts. In fact, I looked at my watch thinking there was like maybe there should be about 5 minutes left, and I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, it's only been an hour in? How is this possible? How did time stand still for this movie? Felt it became a little repetitive and much the same throughout the story. It was just kind of like, okay, we get it. Here's another clip about this, and here's another clip about this movie. And then they just kept throwing in him being abusive to her. But it wasn't like they didn't.
And then home movies of the kids.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, I don't care about seeing your kids. Like, I'm glad that you had kids. But, I mean, it was, you nailed it with your point, which is this wasn't focused enough of a doc. And, to compare this with The Human Factor, which we saw the other day. Which was ultra focused and ultra amazing. This was kind of like, here's our life. We made a couple home movies, and here, now you can enjoy it.
Well, they made more than a couple.
Yeah, it was literally, that was the thing. They basically said their entire lives was on video through the whole thing. I see the news every night, so I don't necessarily need to watch the news again in a film. Gets okay, meh.
Yeah, fair enough.
Didn't love it, but I liked seeing. Let me rephrase this. I like the fact that they were who they were for us.
Yep.
But I didn't really like this doc as much as I was hoping I would.
Fair enough.
But it's a meh.
Yeah.
And Faja.
Yeah, then we saw The Father.
Yeah.
Don't confuse it with Father, which is another film.
We're going to be seeing.
Which we're probably going to see today, actually.
Maybe. No secrets, but maybe.
Maybe, definitely. Yeah.
Most likely, probably, maybe.
Yeah. The Father. I tell you, it had quite a cast.
And then
do I need to say more?
Do you want me to take over? Is that your and pass the baton?
Go ahead.
All right. So it's funny how my first thing is this was a cast that any director would have wet dreams about for the remainder of their life. Like the actors in this, every single one of them, and we won't list them all down because you got IMDb, which is probably not listing the most important one.
I might mention a few.
Sure, go ahead. That's your job to list names you can pronounce. So these are some of my favorite actors from the British film industry, and to me, every single person in this film was flawless. Aside from Anthony Hopkins, a little bit, I was a little bothered, and I told you this yesterday with his performance at the beginning of this film. I personally didn't feel he got his sea legs in this role as it went, and maybe it was intentional because of the situation that was happening, but that was the only thing I saw as a flaw in this. So Anthony Hopkins' descent into dementia was amazing. The whole decline of his psyche through this, I felt, was super, super fantastic. But as we watched it, I felt through it, I wasn't loving this movie. I liked it a lot. And even when we walked out of it and I rated it with the end of the film, this is the one that I'm giving away that afterwards, I haven't stopped thinking about this movie. Mm-hmm. So to me, perhaps it affected me more than I thought it was. And to me, that's a real measurement stick for whether something gets that Mondo. I thought that I didn't also like the end, which could have potentially destroyed this film. And I think it did retract from it. But why I think I'm changing my rating from meh to Mondo on this was because I haven't stopped thinking about how well the director did that decline into dementia. I really got involved with every scene other than the 6 minutes of the end and the first 5 minutes of Anthony Hopkins bothering me. The sandwich that was in the meat, or I should say the tofurkey that was in the middle of that sandwich, I loved it so much, and I'm still thinking about it. It's making me want to call my parents, which I often never want to do.
Huh.
So I was going to give this a meh, but I am retracting that meh, and it's getting a Mondo. Gets an amazing cast. Great depiction of dementia. Mando.
right.
Mando.
Well,
Let's get into Mando.
It's a Mando. I didn't like it quite as much as you. I think maybe I did, but I didn't get swayed at the end.
Perhaps the ending was enough to help.
I
to hurt
haven't
you.
been thinking about it since I've got out of it.
Even after thinking of your dad?
No, not really.
Okay.
But there's no correlation for me between this.
He didn't have
character and
dementia.
No. So.
Yeah.
With casts like this, Olivia Colman, Imogen Poots, and Sir Anthony Hopkins, this had little chance of not being a good movie. And it was a good movie. The acting was top-notch. Olivia Colman was amazing. Her facial expressions and body language was just... It really made you feel the anguish that her character was going through. She didn't even have to say anything.
Nope.
And you could just... It just permeated off the screen. It was crazy. She's such a good actress.
Can I just add one point?
Yeah.
Just to pause you for there so you can continue to think about this. That would normally something that would happen in a movie.
Yes.
That could potentially push you to a Mondo.
It could.
I'm fighting for this. I'm fighting for this Mondo.
And her performance was Mondo.
Yes.
But here's
That's
the
been
thing.
enough for you to give Mondos away before.
Oh, whatever.
Go back and listen to 17 of our podcasts.
Hopkins and the rest of the cast were solid. There really isn't a weak link in there. This was a heartbreaking story of a man being overtaken by dementia. However, it didn't break my heart. I felt I should have felt more than I did. This movie had an award-worthy performance from Olivia Colman, but it takes place in a movie that's meh for me. I'm sorry.
Well, acting...
Once again, proving that I have a black heart.
I wouldn't say, because you know what? At the end of it, how you're talking about it is how I felt. I felt meh after seeing it. I didn't think to your point, I felt I should. But apparently, after sleeping on it and waking up all morning thinking about it, I'm like, apparently I did. Maybe it was because my lack of sleep that I have not had.
Maybe I'll wake up next week and change
then
my
you'll go like,
rating to
holy
Mondo.
cow! We've got to do a separate podcast for Bryce to do
Stay
a
tuned.
recall. Okay, well, something I know we both had the same passion for
Yes.
was
Possessor.
Baby Cronenberg.
Baby Cronenberg. Love him. Brandon, my boy.
My boy.
Should I go?
Yeah, man, baby,
All right.
take it.
I'm not going to say much about it because I just feel like I'm just gushing and it's almost embarrassing.
You can't even get your words straight. You're so gushing.
Brandon creates a visual.
What do you think, Charlie?
Visual feast. Oh yeah, Charlie Horse is here with us today. What do you think?
Hey, Charlie.
He's a man of little words.
Charlie, wink.
Yeah. Stop bugging Charlie Horse. Cronenberg has quickly become a master of creating unforgettable images. His style is just so provocative and unflinching. You leave this movie knowing that you just witnessed a piece of cinematic art. Cronenberg takes another step forward with the writing as well. I don't know if you saw Incision as well.
Yeah.
And the writing was solid in that, but
Yep.
the writing goes to another level here.
He's been progressing.
Yeah.
Since his first film.
Well, that's the thing. This is his second film. I mean, he's done a bunch of shorts, but
Yep.
another guy that could go on that list that I was raging about that took 8 years to come out with another movie, but I digress. This was just a really well-written thriller. That, in combination with his superior direction, makes a movie that is absolutely Mondo. I can't wait to watch his next movie. And I hope that I don't have to wait so long for another Brandon Cronenberg film.
Yeah. Ditto? No.
Yeah, you get into more detail, I'm sure.
A little bit. I'll say a little bit. As you know, I'm a huge David fan. So I felt... And we talked a little bit about this actually back, maybe it was with Colby or Brenda when we were chatting with one of them earlier in the week about whether or not we felt that Brandon was going to be channeling his father. So totally channeling David on this film. As I came out of it, I was like, what? It had so much beautiful slow pacing that Cronenberg builds. like in so many of his films, film had some draggy parts in the film, but the wait was made so worth it by the amazing little gore treats that were left for us. Like a deranged Easter bunny leaving delicious bloody chocolate eggs all through this film. Right up until the end of the film where, for me, it could have teetered, like for me, because of some of the dragginess, it teetered a little bit. I don't want to say totally, but it was, the ending for me was going to make or break this for me. If the ending,
for me.
Yeah, I know. But for me, it was, because I did enjoy this. I was enjoying those crunchy little nuggets of eggs that was left for us. But I wasn't like totally convinced. The ending, this is one of those movies that for me, if they fucked up the ending, it was going to a meh.
But they didn't.
They did not. The ended delivered in a huge, huge way. Brandon, you are one fucked up dude, and I love you for it. I can't wait to fall in love with the next generation of Cronenbergs. I hope you're having babies right now, because if they can hang by you like you probably did with your dad, I cannot wait for every single thing that you have to produce coming forward. Gets a joy-gastic, kill your own son, Cronenberg Jr. Mondo from me.
Nice.
And for those who haven't seen this yet, there's scenes in this movie, and you said it back to Colby. You said, I can't wait to see this movie, that I'm never going to be able to unsee some of these scenes. And I don't know why you said that.
Because I knew.
But this is what's going to happen in this movie.
I'm clairvoyant.
Like his dad, and I'm going to bring back one of my favorite horror movies, The Brood, which you've got creepy little fuckers in. This one, it's like near the end, and the end is killer. It moved it from I really like this movie to the ending where it's like, this movie was fantastic.
Didn't do that for me. It moved it from Super Mondo to Super Mondo.
I know, but that's because there was so much walking. So much there was so much walking. But like I said, it always delivered. It's kind of like, oh, come on. Like, there's nothing really super awesome happening, but the little threads that were being planted in this giant gory chocolate egg pops up on the screen later. And
there was nothing but super awesome happening. Every frame I fell in love with.
That's good. That's good. So, yeah, I guess that's it we've got for today. What?
He's only 6 movies away from being on our undoubted list.
That's true. Actually, you know what? I thought he made another film.
Nope. He was involved with a bunch of his dad's
Didn't he
films.
direct Antiviral? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the only one.
That's the only one?
Yeah. And that was 8 years ago. That's
why I'm 8 years ago?
Yeah, it was like 2012.
Maybe he's just had money make... Okay, can you start making more movies there, Brandon? What the hell, buddy?
He's made a bunch of shorts.
Bryce will write you a check next week. You can start working on your next project.
I'll give you an upwards of $2,000 for your next movie.
There you go. Brandon, contact us at
for
Film
that
Rage,
sweet $2,000.
filmragecalgary@gmail.com, or go on our website, filmrageyyc.com, and send us a note.
But if I give you the $2,000, I expect a movie in the next 2 years.
That's right. Well, he's working on 2 things right now, so maybe you'll get it.
All right.
Okay, well, that is it for today. We're going to talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Raid crew of Leonard Conlon for his artistic vision and photography via Leonard Conlon Photography. Leonard, you owe us some pictures, so let's get together, brother. Thanks to Merman, who will catch up with us this week. He's away today and tomorrow, but he'll be back for Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday episodes of the podcast. Listen to us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Bramble, and Spotify. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and check out our website, which I've already listed, but let's say it again, at filmrageyyc.com. We are always wanting your feedback to make this rage and blast for all listeners, so please comment often. Please tell us a bunch of stuff. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't, but whatever you do, please make us rage. Please, please. Check us out tomorrow when we're going to be talking about some more stuff from CIFF. And until then, rage on.
Rage on.